Good afternoon and welcome to the May General Membership Lunch, where we have not only a full crowd, but look at that weather out there. Oh, that was the longest winter I think on record, and I think we're all grateful for some sunshine and a little bit of dry weather. Thank you all so much for being here. We do have a full crowd here today. I'm Marie Dimkowski, I'm the Executive Director of the Pullman Chamber. We are going to do self-introductions today, even with this many people. I think it's important, and so does the President, to know who's in the room. Many of you have not had a chance to introduce yourself to him yet, so we're going to do that, but we're going to switch things around a little bit because some of you are still eating, and we have a lot of people still sitting down. So we're going to start with the students of the month. So if I could have President Rob Rembert come up and help me with our May students of the month. We have two students here, if you'll come on up. Each student is receiving a certificate and also a check for $100 that is sponsored by the Pullman Chamber, Avista, and the Pullman Greyhound Boosters. Serenity Dixon. Serenity's best memories of her time at Pullman High School have been her relationships with her teachers. Serenity's teachers have taught her valuable lessons in the classroom and have helped her get ready for her future. She says they've been available to her time and time again. In return, Serenity plans to become a teacher herself. She plans to go on her mission and then attend college to study teaching math and business. As a freshman, Serenity attended Cheney High School but went to Pullman, where she has been active on the tennis team, pep band, and in her church's leadership group. In her time outside of the classroom, Serenity is a lifeguard, teaches swim lessons, and volunteers at her church. Congratulations, Serenity. Our next student, Bjorn Knoblu. I said no block, but that was not right. I told him I was going to mess it up. I did my best. Thank goodness I wasn't one of those at commencement that had to read all those names, because that would not work for me. Bjorn has been an active member of Pullman High School throughout his 4 years there. In freshman year, he participated in the ping pong club. In sophomore and junior year, he played for the PHS tennis team. And outside of athletics, he also competed for Pullman High School's Knowledge Bowl team for 2 years and was an active member in the school's new media class, filming the school's sports games and events. Bjorn is also politically minded. One of his favorite memories of his time in school is participating in the Model UN in his sophomore year history class, and he is generally very aware of and interested in the intricacies of modern politics. For the last 2 years, Bjorn has worked for WSU Coop Vision, filming the university's football and basketball games for the in-stadium video boards. He will also be attending WSU next year as a member of the Honors College and plans to major in either media production or history. Congratulations and go Coop. Thank you. Thanks for being here. So today's lunch is being sponsored by SYG Nursery and Landscaping, our business member of the month. And today we have Kevin Pullman with us. He's the nursery manager and has worked at SYG since 2010. He's a great asset to the business as his attention to detail and reliability are unmatchable. Also, he really is very good with customers. I go out there a lot. So Kevin, if you'll come on up and tell us about SYG Nursing and Landscaping.
Thank you, Marie. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us here. Just a few words about SYG. I was told I had just a couple of minutes to give a plug, so, and thank goodness for the green and warm, right? Yes, it was a long winter, so we're all glad, and we're happy too, and so are the plants. SYG, contrary to some popular belief, it is not SIG. I've heard a lot of people call it SIGs, but it actually stands for SYG, just the letters, and that began with Stefan's Yard and Garden in the early 80s. And Stefan started that, and later on decided to go into landscaping and incorporated in early 2000s, and it became SYG Nursery and Landscaping Incorporated. And so it's a full-service nursery and landscaping business. There's about 30 acres out there. We have bulk items, bark, all sorts of mulch, compost, soil mixes, perennials, annuals, vegetables, trees, shrubs, and everything in between. We have a propagation greenhouse, and we grow most of our vegetables and a lot of our annuals in-house, so they're grown right here. And we put them out for all of you folks to come and get them. The other part of SYG is irrigation, and Stephen's brother Doug is in charge of the irrigation section, and they install sprinkler systems, and so it's really is a full service business. So
Thank you.
That's all I have.
They do special orders too. I go there once in a while and tell them I want something that they don't have, and they just Hey, I just got a little notice on my phone. I might have to take a second and change my seats for football season, because today's my, did you get yours too? No, I really did. Exchange tickets. Yeah, I need to do that. So we're gonna go ahead and do our self-introductions. I want you to please keep it to your name and your business or your organization so that we can get through everyone. Again, I think it's important that the president knows who's here. And so stand up and say who you are and who you're with.
Good afternoon, I'm Aziz Mahani, I'm a small business advisor. We just signed on Skeeter Buggins of Colfax. They are doing the video recording today.
Howdy, I'm Marty with Automated Accounts. We provide white-hot collection services. Also serve on the Whitman County Landlord Tenants Association and the Whitman County Board of Adjustment.
Devin Valstead with Pullman Disposal Service, Pullman Mini Storage, and Kiwanis Club.
Justin Rackers, commercial real estate.
Rich Weston, my wife and I have the Weston Bunkhouse and the Weston Farmhouse, the B&B, and also I'm with the Pullman Civic Trust.
Good afternoon, I'm Shelley Bennett with Blues Commercial Real Estate.
Hello, Barbara Ventura, WSU retired after 25 years and with Kiwanis more than 20.
I'm Sandra Woodrow, and I'm a Kiwanian as well. And I just wanted to mention to all of you that Gladys is having their art walk at the facility there, so come by May 11th and the 13th and have a look.
Hi, Jim with Blues Technology Services, Colfax Computer, Colfax Loan, and a few others.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Pierce with Pullman Regional Hospital Foundation. I am Becky Heidel, I'm the Director for the Center for Learning and Innovation at Pullman Regional Hospital.
I'm Sasha Smith with Blues Specialty Physicians. Heidi Washington, Windermere Property Management, and I'm the lead of the Blues.
Chris Clark with real estate.
Olsen McManus with the Rollsford WSU Visitors now.
John Chapman, WSU retiree, Pullman Board of Adjustment, Whitman County Landlord Tenant Association, and Anita's Rent.
Anita Hornbeck, Anita's Rentals, and sorry, I just met last night. Historic Preservation Commission, and also president of the Whitman County Landlord Tenant Association.
Pullman School District.
Colleen Harrington with Irwin Michael Beth Savage and Brown.
Tom and Jerry Harris and Piper, Kiwanis Club, professional volunteers, art block flyers on the back table.
Good afternoon, Annie Pillars with Friends of Hospice. And I'm Terry Tier with Friends of Hospice.
Hello, Bev Wolf. I'm the director of the Montessori School of Pullman and the vice president of the Montessori Institute of America.
Bob Maxwell, Superintendent of the Public Schools.
Dan David, family icon. This is my wife Pam.
Brittany Packwood, events coordinator for the Pullman and director of the National Winter Festival. Buy your poster unveiling tickets today.
I am Kimberly Marsh, I'm the office manager of the Pullman Chamber.
And I'm Carol Cooper, Director of Tourism for the City of Pullman.
I'm Ken Cassavant. On Monday, I will retire from WSU after 50 years.
I'm Colleen Hinman, and I'm with the YMCA of the Police and Rotary Club of Pullman.
I'm Daphne Rock, and I'm with the YMCA of Pullman. Kayla Iverson with the YMCA of Blues as well.
Tiffany Braun with the WSU Center for Civic Engagement.
Brian Holman with Inland Section.
Cheryl Scott, I'm with Inland Northwest Broadcasting.
John Sherman, retired Pullman City Supervisor and Pullman Rotary Club.
Debbie Sherman, also retired. I'm with the Pullman County Disability Services Board in Florence.
Hi, I'm Anna Burton, I am with the WSU Foundation.
He's worked with the University of Epstein Foundation.
Tracy Tech, everything that they said. The University events at WSU Foundation.
Chris Rohr from the Fairfield Inn and Suites Moscow, and a proud member of Moscow Central Lions.
Hi, I'm Wanda Michelson, I'm with the Fairfield Inn also.
Hello, Jake DeVleming with Pullman Vision Source.
Sarah Dowd from the Holiday Inn Express. Katie Bass with Fresno Gage County.
Katie Van Weingarten with the Fresno Gage County and YMCA of the Blues.
Hi, I'm Pat Wright, I'm on the Pullman City Council, Pullman Education Foundation Board, Pullman Chamber of Commerce Board, and the Pullman Regional Hospital Foundation Board. And Neil's Flowers in my spare time.
Spare time. I'm Denise Snyder, I conduct the community band The Police, and we're welcoming new members. If your new friends and neighbors come to town, they're welcome with us.
And I'm Sandy Powell, and I'm with I Believe in the Blues. See me after for raffle tickets, it's your last chance.
Pastor Bill from the Evangelical Free Church, and we've changed to our Sunday mornings at 9:30. You're all welcome.
Cece Scott from the College of Education.
Bill Scott, financial advisor with Waddell & Reed, and I'm with her.
Gary Hopkins, I'm the area director and college director for Young Life on the Blues.
Fritz Hughes, Pullman City Council.
What was that? We haven't got time.
Sam Kimmel and McGregor Company.
Paul Kimmel with the District Corporation.
I'm Tanya Perez with the Graduate and Professional Student Association. I'm also Kiwanis.
Jeff Guyette with Community Action Center here in Pullman.
Jennifer White with Spicer Engineering. Mackenzie Brenda with Spicer Engineering.
Mike Heston, Pullman Fire Department, Lions Club, and Boy Scouts. This is my son Steve.
Mary Jo Gonzalez, Vice President for Student Affairs at Washington State. Go Cougs! Hello, Chris Hoyt, Chief of Staff, President's Office, WSU.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Phil Weiler, and I'm the Vice President for Marketing and Communications at Washington State. I've been here for all of a week, so I'm really excited to be able to see these faces, and hopefully I can connect with all of you. And I've been told that the weather is like this all the time, so I'm very excited.
Caleb Cox with the Best Western Weaver Dam, Director of Sales and Marketing there in Colfax.
Sean Kelly, Pullman Building Supply.
Tyler Garrett, Moscow Pullman Building Supply. We're a week away from tomorrow, ladies' night.
Laura Child, Director of Development for the Museum of Art at WSU.
Hi, I'm Karen Shannon. I'm the Director of Technology of the Pullman Public Schools. I co-chair the Pullman 2040 Committee, and I'm also running for City Council, hopefully to fill Prince's spot. Not his shoes.
Not his shoes. I'm Anna Maria Shannon. I'm currently the Interim Director for the Museum of Art at WSU.
I'm Andrew Kubetich with Hub International Insurance.
Josh Smart with Hub International Insurance.
Ryan Foch, Hub Insurance.
Hello, John Johnson, Washington State University Athletics.
Hi, I'm Connie Horgan, Executive Director over Regency Pullman.
Good afternoon. I'm Tasha Kellinger, and I'm Community Relations Director at Regency Pullman.
And Wes with League of Women Voters of Pullman.
Hello, I'm Pete Dickinson, Pullman City Planner.
Michelle Elmwood with Police Care Network based in Moscow.
Ed Van Newland with Palouse Care Network, and I'm with her.
He just doesn't get the same,
Hi, I'm Sue Hintz. I'm 30 years retired from Washington State University and absolutely delighted that Cassava is finally retiring so I don't have to go behind and clean up after me.
I'm Rick Weinberg and I'm a volunteer at the hospital.
Anjanette Seymour, the proud mom of the Student of the Month for Survey, and I also work at Moscow Village. Hi.
Sarah Dixon, Student of the Month and senior at high school.
Björn Knobloch, also a student of mine.
You see why I couldn't say it?
I'm Bart Johnson, Bucket Village Students, and I'm on the United Board.
Kevin Pullen, SYG Nursery.
Stephen Holstead, founder of SYG Nursery and Landscaping.
PJ Sanchez, Washington Trust Bank.
Trent Getz, Airway Hills Golf Range out by the airport, and Trent Getz School of Golf.
Sherry Getz, Principal, Pullman Christian School.
Andrew Lopez, also with Washington Trust Bank.
Cheryl Mitchell, I'm with Living Faith Fellowship, Pullman Christian School, and Pullman Christian Child Care Center.
Olivia Yang, Washington State University.
Hi, I'm Stacy Pearson. I'm Vice President for Finance and Administration at Washington State University.
I'm Kyle York with Washington Trust Bank.
Steve Roberts with Washington Trust Bank.
Hi, I'm John Sutherland, WSU Marketing and Communications.
Carlene Beaumont with Schweitzer Engineering Laboratories.
Shannon Marriott with the Residence Inn Hotel.
Hi, Steve Ricken, Residence Inn Hotel.
Rod Schwartz, Pullman Radio and Grace Broadcast Sales.
Paul Schwartz with Grace Broadcasting.
Tom Weaver, Living Faith Fellowship.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alan Hodges with Washington Federal Bank, the Pullman Chamber Board, and I'm the Chief Sanitation Engineer for Lily's Consignment Shop.
Good afternoon, Doug Cox with Columbia Bank and the Pullman Chamber, and Ken Cassavin, congratulations.
Ginger Flynn with Dave Christie State Farm, President-elect of Kiwanis. I'm on the board for Whitman County Landlord Tenant Association, and I'm on the board for Whitman County Association of Realtors.
Hi, I'm Scott Hodge. I work at Schweitzer Engineering. I'm on the Planning and Zoning Board for the City of Pullman. I'm a board member for Whitman County Landlord Tenant Association and an active Kiwanian.
Jeff Hallbaker, Pullman City Council, Quotas member, and STL.
Good afternoon, Tom Camarazzo, Port of Whitman County Commissioner.
Heidi McCall, Pullman City Council, President of the Friends of Gladys Board of Directors, and former President of the the Landlord Tenant Association.
Hello, Ruben Mace, Pullman Regional Hospital Foundation.
Darcy Linderman with SIDS Pharmacy and SIDS Long-Term Care Pharmacy.
Sid Pearson, Sid's Pharmacy.
Adam Lincoln, Pullman City Supervisor.
Glenn Johnson, Pullman Mayor, and I hope I don't get a text that says, my seat's been moved from the game.
Gary James, Pullman Police Chief.
James Onstad, attorney with Rowan, Michael, Bus Savage, and Brown.
Rob Rembert, I'm also with Rowan, Michael, Bus Savage, and Brown, and the Chamber Board.
I think I got everybody, correct? Excellent. I've met a few new people here today, too. So if this is the first time you've come to Chamber Luncheon, can you just stand up real quick? I know there's a bunch of you. Second Tuesday of every month, except for July and December, put it on your calendar. Kim, this has been kind of a roast to Kim all of a sudden, but we should also point out that you were one of the fine folks that helped put together all the bulbs on Bishop Boulevard. They were beautiful this year, so thank you very much for doing that. All right. University President Kirk Schulz on the job since, no, yes I can. Okay, you don't want to do it? I won't. Okay, but let me say this. Can I say this? Thank you. He was on the job for 2 days, I think, last June when he came and spoke to us, and I think that, in my mind, really showed a commitment from him and from WSU and his office to work with the city, and we have since created a town gown collaborative where we have really started moving forward on several initiatives, and President Schulz is committed not only resources and staff but his own time, and I just want to thank you publicly for that, and I think we're all going to hear wonderful things from you on the State of the University address. Please help me welcome President Kirk Schulz.
Good afternoon, and it's great to be here. I was hopeful that by the time we finished introductions, it wasn't sort of 1 o'clock, but this is my second time, and I was trying to remember how many days into the job I was when I visited the first time, and I think it was my second day, but it's great to be back. It's great to be back after a year, and my wife and I and our dog, Cayenne, have just loved being in this community. One of the nice things and the fun things about being a university president in a small college town is after a while you tend to be recognized, and we go into different places and people say hello to us. So interestingly, Noel and I feel good about this when it happens. Of course, I brag to my mother-in-law and all this kind of stuff. So we went to the a movie this a couple days ago, and I dropped Noel off to get the tickets. Gentlemanly thing to do, parked 10 feet away and then got out. And anyway, she was up at the little thing getting the tickets, and the guy had just asked her for ID to make sure that the credit card was okay. And I walked up and I said, "Do you get the tickets?" He goes, "I don't need to see ID anymore." So it is great to be recognized and get those little perks, like that. We still pay for the tickets, don't get me wrong. At least they didn't have to see our driver's license. But you get used to that, and again, that's kind of a part of fun of my job. But one of the other instances that's also a reminder is they had one of these service days where you go around town and you can kind of clean and do kind of stuff. And so Noel decided without consultation at home that it would be great for us to sign up for one of these. And so it was a Sunday, we had this long Saturday, it was in the afternoon. And I said, "What are we going to do?" And she says, "Oh, I volunteered. We're going to go to the theater in downtown, and we're going to do some work there." And I said, "Oh, that's kind of cool." So we knock on the door. We show up. We say, "We're here to volunteer." And they have no idea who we are or why we're there. And so we say, "We're here to kind of help." So what winds up happening is they said, "Well, you should go to this particular area. This needs to be vacuumed and scrubbed and all that kind of stuff." So we roll up our sleeves and we're getting after it. And about an hour later, somebody figured out who we were. And they came in and, "Oh my God, you guys know how to do it?" So So we had a great time there. We got to see the costume shop. We got to help put away Christmas decorations. And but it's a reminder. Just as soon as you get your head a little big and think everybody knows you, they don't. But it's also a reminder too. In the community, it's important for Nolan to be out, to be visible, and be around and working on different things. So we've had a great time doing that this last year. There are some of you here that have restaurants, and just so you know, Nolan and I do not cook at home very often. And so if you follow me on Twitter, I'll use the Dining in the Palouse hashtag as we try different restaurants and stuff like that out there. And we still got a few to get to, but that's been also a fun part of that. And it's interesting. I always wonder, how impactful that can be. And I'll be in Seattle, and somebody will go, "Oh, I saw that you went to this place, and next time I'm in Pullman, I'm going to go there." So you just never know what the reach of that is. So it's been fun to do that. So let me talk a little bit about some of the things going on at the university. And when I was here a year ago, we really talked about the need for the university and the community to be more closely linked. And that was not saying anything was bad before, but to me, you can always, especially with the change in leadership, sit down and say, are there things that we could be doing differently? What was working before? What wasn't working as well? And so we had this town gown collaborative that got together. And I think the first meeting or so, there was probably some appropriate venting of frustration on actions the university has taken in the past, or things that we haven't done, or things we haven't followed up on. But these were all things that were important, and they're all things that we needed to be thinking about. And I think by the second and third meeting, we kind of moved beyond those things to really talk about the future and how the university and the town can work together. Now, it's not just so that I can wave the flag and say, hey, we're working together. It's the growth of WSU, and I believe the growth of Pullman are really tied together. If we're working together on things, it helps you all in the business community, it helps us as a university, and it helps us attract and retain the kind of great faculty and staff that we need. So I look forward to continuing to work together on this, and we've got a lot of our administrative team that is involved and engaged with the community and will be so in the future. Downtown revitalization, this is one of my pet projects, and so I'm on the little subgroup of the collaborative working on the downtown area. As a matter of fact, one of the things that we're working on is putting together a downtown association that would be complementary to the chamber. This is not to supplement that, but to focus on that downtown area, what types of things we can do to help revitalize that and get student and faculty traffic through the downtown area, and working on businesses and working on what things need to look like and things like that. So it's not being critical of what's there, but it's saying, hey, let's get the group of folks together that are most around this area and see what types of things we can do. One of the things that we're talking about is putting, I'll say a branch, if you will, but having part of the art museum downtown. And so when people are here for weekends or other events or going to restaurants, there would be, our art museum would be down there with a rotating collection and things like that. And that's moving forward. We're also talking about ways just to get more student traffic downtown, more awareness of the businesses that are down there. And I think you're going to continue to see that. It doesn't mean that other areas of Pullman are not important, and we've got different members of my administrative team working on those. Airport expansion, this continues to be really, really a critical thing for all of us in our community. I was just looking at my phone before I got up here. I think I only have 40 segments on Alaska so far this year. So I utilize our airport almost exclusively when I fly. Occasionally go to Spokane, depending if I've got business up there. But I'm in and out of here a lot. And I know the reliability of our air service into and out of our community is important for just about everybody. It's important for the university, it's important for your businesses, and things like that. So this is something we are continuing to work with the city on, and as you go out there and you see the construction going on, this is not an option for the university or an option for the community. We've got to get this done, and I look forward to seeing a new airport and eventually a new modern terminal, at least a terminal that we can get all the people who got to get on the airplane into. That is one of the challenges I think we have. And this is not being critical of anybody, it's just the reality is, when you're out there and they've got literally everybody past security, a lot of people standing up because there's nowhere to sit down. And I inevitably am the one guy that forgot to go to the bathroom before going to security. And, it's like, well, you can go to the bathroom, Kirk, but then you can't get on the plane. So you just got to have to sit. If you see me jumping around, you'll know exactly why before getting on the plane. We want to continue to grow our enrollment, and if we look at the fall, we expect to have another entering class of somewhere around 4,000 students. We shoot for between 4,000 and 4,200. That's kind of our goal. And I think our projections are that we'll be there. And we can measure that with housing deposits and all kinds of stuff. But when you see the alive students and families here during the summer, please remember, not all of them have necessarily committed to coming here. Many have, but there's still some that are saying, well, I'm going to go to a couple of orientations and see that. So we want to make sure that when those alive families are in Pullman, that we roll out the red carpet, because we want those families to say, this is where I want my son or daughter to go to school, and I love the Pullman community and the way it opened up to everybody. The other thing that I will say is the Into partnership is going to be transformational, I believe, for the university. That's a term that's used by presidents all too often. But if we look at it, WSU right now, roughly 7% of our student body is from outside the United States. Other top 25 public research universities be somewhere between 15–16% of their enrollment is from out of the country. So it doesn't mean just because somebody else does it, we need to do that. But Into is a company that works also with Colorado State and Oregon State University on going out and helping recruit students into particular programs with certain academic aptitudes. So, and it turns out, you say, well, Kirk, universities have already been doing this. Well, they have, and we hosted somewhere like 100, they have several hundred folks internationally out recruiting students. You could never build that kind of an organization, and we have a long-term partnership with them. We'll see some of our first students in the Into program this next year, but if you map it out in 3 or 4 years, this could impact our community greatly, because we'll have more students from all over the world here in Pullman, shopping here, going to school here, doing great things. And I think it's going to be an opportunity, that's the way I look upon it, for us as a community to continue to grow in a diverse environment for our students that will continue to be really, really important as we have more of these folks show up. So let's talk about a few successes, and no, I won't speak for 10 minutes on every slide. We won't be here till 3 o'clock, I can guarantee that. So first, let's talk a little bit about expansion of healthcare. And last year at this time, when I sort of visited with us, I was on my way very shortly after that to go to Spokane to sit down with the accreditation team looking at the Elson Floyd College of Medicine. Well, we had obviously a very successful accreditation visit at that particular time. They felt good about the financial parts of the university and the leadership and where we were going. We received preliminary accreditation at the end of October. We did 1 month of essentially recruitment for that first medical school class of 60 students. We had over 700 applications in that period of time. And I asked our dean, I said, John Tomkowiak, how many of those folks do you just throw out? They just academically aren't qualified. He said maybe 100. So you still had 600 generally qualified folks for those 60 slots. We pretty much built that class out, and as a reminder, all 60 of those students are Washington residents. We do not even have an out-of-state tuition rate for the Floyd College of Medicine. And that shows a strong commitment to make sure we're meeting the needs of the state of Washington. So that's really a cool deal. And as a remember, first 2 years in Spokane, then years 3 and 4 will be on one of our campuses in Spokane, Tri-Cities, Vancouver, or Everett, as folks finish up their medical degree. We'll certainly have some medical students here and interacting with our medical professionals here, but I think that's going to be a cool thing. It's going to be transformational in the long run for not just the campus, but WSU, because it expands our reach into human medicine. We have nursing, we've had pharmacy for many, many years, but now we have the MD program on top of that, and it opens up research ideas, collaborations here with the campus in Spokane and Pullman, and I think you're going to see some really positive things come out of this as we move down the road. The other thing I will mention is we started this without having the money allocated for it. And so one of the interesting things, we've worked hard in the legislature, and our government relations team has done a great job. But the funding for the medical school, which is about $10 million, was in all 3 of the current budgets that are floating out there: the governor's budget, the House budget, and the Senate budget. So We've had great support from Republicans and Democrats, House and Senate, for this medical school, and it's great to see that level of state support. Now, as you may remember, it's not just one-time money. So this is state support to get us through this biennium. Guess what? Next biennium, we add 2 more classes on top of that, so it's another big slug of money. So when folks signed up for this is actually a substantial financial hurdle that we had to overcome, that the state has really been behind. And I think in these times, especially when you got McCleary and these other things to deal with, it's great to see that kind of resources coming to WSU. Environmentally friendly jet fuel, there's been a long-term use in the state of natural resources, and particularly if we think of forestry and timber coming from Washington outside the area, that's something that you think a lot about. Well, those times have changed and evolved and moved on, but it turns out we can still do some really interesting things by making an environmentally friendly jet fuel out of some of the forest products that are still prevalent in our state. WSU is leading this. It was nearly a $40 million research project with a consortium of a lot of universities. And this picture was taken of an inaugural flight from Seattle on Alaska to Washington, D.C. using some of this fuel. So you say, well, is it economically viable? Can we use it today for the same price as petroleum-derived jet fuels and things like that? It's not all the way there yet, but you've got to sort of do some of the basic research to lay the groundwork for this to be successful in the future. We pride ourselves on a transformational student experience, and this is something that we have to keep working on. And I want to emphasize this is you never check this box and say, you know what, we're done. We got the perfect transformational student experience. The demands, the issues surrounding our students of today are really different than they were just a few years ago. And this reminds me of a story. Sometimes you hear people say, well, the students of today don't have this, and they're not like this, and so on. When I was an engineering student in the 80s, the faculty at that time said, you know, if you guys were, it was most of the guys, were just as good as they were 20 years ago, man, we have awesome engineers. But you don't have this, use calculators too much. You can't do calculations in your head. And they went through all this kind of stuff. And then 20 years later, you had people saying, well, the engineers of today, they use laptops and computers too much. If they just knew how to use a slide rule and this, they would be much better. The reason I say that is every generation of students is different. And it doesn't mean they're better or that they're worse. It means that they just have a different set of skills. Our students today can multitask. They can do a variety of different things at the same time that if I try to do 2 of them, I do both of them poorly. We have a lot of our students today that can do a lot of these different kinds of things. So when you hear these stories that sometimes say, well, the people today just aren't quite as good, I think that's garbage. Our students today are extremely talented. They do great things. They still have great work ethic. And I think it's something that we need to continue to make sure that the university is providing the support services to help students grow and nurture them while they're here. Now, it doesn't mean that you lower the bar on academic accountability. It doesn't mean that all of a sudden to get an accounting degree means less today than it did a few years ago. It just means that we want to make sure that every student who signs up at WSU walks across that stage and graduates, and that's an important thing to us. We continue to have record enrollment. We had 30,142 students, President's Union, you can learn this stuff, enrolled this fall. We had that's system-wide. We had a record enrollment in the spring as well, and we had record enrollments in several of our different campuses. And we don't call them branch campuses anymore. We call them campuses. Just to give you some perspective, Saturday, we graduated about 3,000 students. I should call our hands. So 3,000 students here in Pullman. In Vancouver, they graduated 1,000. So just to give you some perspective, when we talk about branch campus, sometimes you think of an outlier, something with a little bit of stuff. But that's those campuses are grown up, they're teenage children now. And they're exerting their independence sometimes, which is a good thing. But what's going to happen is we're going to continue to evolve as a system of 5 unique campuses that are all WSU. It's one WSU, but at the same time, each one's going to be a little bit different, and we have to be okay with that. Cosmic Crisp apple, if you ever had one of these things, they are fantastic. It turns out this was an apple variety developed by WSU in conjunction with the apple growers in the state. It's taken over a decade to get to this particular point. We'll have 3,000 Cosmic Crisp, 3 million, excuse me, Cosmic Crisp trees planted next year, another 700,000 the year after that. And what's interesting is we get some intellectual property from this and a small amount of dollars every time apples are sold in the Cosmic Crisp variety. So this has got that opportunity to really be significant for not just WSU, but certainly Connors. And it shows what can happen by having a vibrant research program at a land-grant university and that's working with industry in that particular state. So if you've ever had a chance to eat one of these things, they're fabulous, and if you, I can guarantee at some point in the next year or so, you'll have that ability. But one of the great things about being a land-grant president is I was at Wenatchee, and one of our growers walked up and he gave me this half a case of these apples and said, "Oh, these are the Cosmic Crisp." And I'm like, whatever, I got food stuff and apples now, life is good, right? So we brought them home and ate one of them, and I'm like, man, these are really good. So it's something certainly to be proud of. Advancement of global health security. The Paul G. Allen School of Global Animal Health continues to do great things. One of our goals is to eradicate rabies in the world by the year 2030. And this is being led by Washington State University. We're not a consortium, we work with other schools, but this is being led right here in Pullman. And Guy Palmer and his team, and many of you have met some of the faculty in the area. We have some of the most world's prominent faculty in that school are really doing a great job. Enrichment of the arts. If you are on campus for any particular reason, you see the new art museum going up. And considering we really had one gallery before, and this is going to be significantly expanded, this is not just simply a WSU edition. This should be viewed as a community edition. We'll be able to see more of the works in our permanent collection, be able to do more things with the gallery space and having collections from other places. We have access to a huge number of different parts of a donor's personal collection, and I think this should be a cool place. We already do a lot of events where you can go to our current museum and have a glass of wine, walk around and see things like that. But it's also how do we integrate an art museum with curricula on our campus. It's not just as a place to I tell our students, it shouldn't be just a place to take your parents when you don't know what else to do with them. Okay? It needs to be something that's all part of campus, and I think this is going to be not just the physical facilities, but as we look out, it's going to be important for us to sort of see where that goes. Our students are very involved and engaged in community service, and we had last year 10,000 WSU students did over 100,000 hours of community service across all of our campuses. And this is a reminder that the young folks of today generally are very interested in the community and the impacts on where they live. And this is important for us to remember. Athletic success, anytime you go to a bowl game, that's a great year for football. But if I look at a lot of our other athletic teams, we had unparalleled success in the classroom and on the field. And I think one thing that it's important for us to take pride in is the number of student athletes that graduated this last time, the number of student athletes that will be playing, for example, football, that graduated in this last graduation. This idea that has been out there for years that intercollegiate athletics, you just take people, they don't graduate. John and his team and the other folks in athletics work really, really hard to mentor our students and make sure that they graduate with a great degree. As a reminder, almost none of our student athletes are going to go be professional athletes. Almost all are here to get a degree and compete at the elite level in the Pac-12. So as you're out there and you see those students competing and we win or lose, just remember so many of them are trying to do two jobs, full-time student, full-time elite athlete at the same time. Very proud of the Cougars and everything that we do. And I'm going to finish with this one. You met a bunch of these folks here today. Mary Jo Gonzalez is our brand new Vice President for Student Life, came to us from the University of Rhode Island. Stacy Pearson over here is our new Vice President for finance and administration. She came to us from Boise State University, but as a Vandal. Mary Jo Lacoud. And then Phil came to us from the University of Illinois at Chicago. He made a very poor choice and went to the University of Oregon, but we'll forgive him for that. But Phil has been here. This is week number 2. And last year, when I came and talked to the chamber, one of the critical things I mentioned was that WSU has got to do a better job of telling our story of success. And that with the community, we know these things, we don't know it more broadly. And this is part of Phil's opportunity, is to work with a very talented marketing communications staff to take these great stories and make sure people know about them regionally, nationally, internationally. Mary Rezac will be joining us July 1 as our brand new Dean of the Boylan College of Engineering and Architecture. She comes to us from Kansas State. And then Daryl DeWald, we just announced about a week ago, will be our new Chancellor at WSU Spokane, and he's currently our Dean of Arts and Sciences. And it's a reminder, sometimes the best leaders that you need for something are right here at home. And we're real thrilled that Daryl elected to do that. So with that, we've had a really exciting year. Noel and I love being in this community. We've got a lot of positive momentum as an institution, as a community moving forward. And I just look forward to working with all of us to continue to make Pullman a great place to live, to work, to play. So thank you for your time.
So we are right about 1 o'clock, but if there are a couple of questions, he's offered to answer those for us. So if there's a burning question, way in the back, Colleen, can you yell?
Yes, I can. I was just wondering what policies WSU has in place to avoid the tragedy at Penn State?
So that's a great question that probably deserves a longer answer than I'm going to give it. But for those who may not be familiar, Penn State University and it's been in the national news, had a tragic death of a student in a fraternity house that had a huge degree of alcohol, fell down some stairs, got injured, and went 12 hours where nobody in the fraternity house even called emergency services, wound up passing away. I would say a couple quick things. One, Mary Jo Gonzalez and Dan Welter, our Greek life folks, are really concerned about continuing to improve the Greek experience at WSU and to make sure we do everything possible to put ourselves in a position that we don't have those things here. You can never guarantee anything can't happen somewhere, but what we can do is continue to work with our leadership to make sure that the Greek experience at WSU is positive and safe for all of our students. There's clearly been some issues around Greek life at WSU over the last couple of years, so this is not in a glass house throwing stones. We've got the work to do on our own, but I think we've got some real engagement with our students. And I'll go back to December when our students elected to say we're not going to have any alcohol-related parties or anything like that until we get our collective act together, because students are getting hurt and we need to do that. So I commend our student leadership for taking that step. The question is, how do we keep that momentum going and ensure it's a safe environment for our students? So thank you. Great question.
Any others? Well, then please say thank you.
For coming. I really appreciate it. Our next lunch, yep, I'll tell you where it is. Can't remember. Where is it?
June 9th at the Holiday Express.
Thank you. June 9th at the Holiday Inn Express. We're going to have a color code personality presentation. So that should be really interesting with the Pullman Regional Hospital. So we'll see you then, and thank you so much again for coming.